Hi guys, and welcome to the wrap up for my March Catwalk TBR game. The April Catwalk TBR game has already gone live, so if you have seen that, you'll already know what I'm going to say, which is I did not complete my March game. So I will remind you of the prompts that I got, and I will tell you, I'm not going to worry about saying what book I selected for it unless I finished it. I'll just say I did not complete that prompt. So let's just go ahead and delve into it. So the first book that I had to read, as far as it was the first digital book for the month, was my punishment book, because I also did not complete my February Catwalk TBR game. So that one, out of my TBR jar, I pulled Through the Magic Sunglasses by Mariia Manko. I have since deleted that book. I ended up giving that a 1 star. I found it, for me personally, to be kind of forgettable because I'm having trouble remembering certain things. It's coming back. Okay, so the main character, I don't remember her name, ran from, I believe it was an abusive relationship. And she's heading to the airport, and this taxi guy gives her this pair of magic sunglasses that will help to keep her safe. So she ends up going, I don't know what country she fled, but she ended up in, I want to say, Germany. This goes across several different countries. I believe she ended up in Germany, and she ended up picking up this flash drive that she shouldn't have, that some other girls dropped when she was drunk and partying too hard or something like that. They were frantic. They called her. It's like, how dare you steal this? You have to give it back to us. So she looks at the flash drive, and turns out that some of these women, or at least one of the women, is married to a high governmental official or something like that. But it shows her and these two other girls basically having an orgy with some men. So it does get explicit. It does say how they had sex in the orgy at times, and they are chasing after this lady that was leaving an abusive relationship. And so now she's on the run, which I'm thinking, why not just give the flash drive back? It's their property. You have no right to it. That's my thinking. So I didn't understand why she kept it. I can see running for your life when you're like, okay, it's I'll leave it at this spot for you. So I just think it could have gone a different way. So that made no sense to me. I mean, that the thought of the sunglasses was pretty cool. She would put the sunglasses on, and the sunglasses would change shape or change design by themselves. They would flash like orange dots across the screen for where danger was coming, and like red when it was like imminent, and so that she could get away. So I mean, that's pretty much all I can tell you. That's all I remember. Pretty much. It was just out there, and I think that one decision to hold on to something that wasn't hers, just kind of, it was like, just give it back. Just say, if you want it, maybe take it to the police station. Say, hey, there's these girls that want this. I'm out of town, or somewhere that's a secure location, and just say, it's this, they're going to come for this. It's here. And then just leave it at that. And then they can go and pick it up. I don't know. I gave it 1 star, and I deleted it. And this was one that I won through Goodreads. I didn't enjoy it. And I think, I don't know what I think. I didn't enjoy it. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Prompt number 2 was pretty fur coat. And this is what I did is generated a random color. And the color that I generated on my phone was this green color. So I had to find a book that had this color. I don't care if it's one dot or if it's predominantly that color. In this case, it's predominantly that color because I went with matched, or at least 50-50 kind of. So I went with Matched by Aly Condie. I've since learned that this is a local author to me because she is outside of Salt Lake City. So that was pretty cool to realize that Aly Condie is a local author to me. Matched, this is very much a dystopian book, and I have the whole trilogy for this, and so I look forward to getting to the second one. Basically, what happens when the teenagers turn 17, they go to this banquet where they are matched up with someone that's either in their district or province with someone else, usually outside of their own district or province. In this case, Cassie, I think is her name, is matched with someone who is in her province. So which is rare. So their protocols on how to meet and date are slightly different than everyone else. They are given this like box of stuff to help them get to know who their future spouse will be. She puts in this card in this reader, and the guy she is matched with comes up, but then it flashes over to someone else. And that turns out she is also matched with, and this person is also a part of her district. And so she's kind of trying to figure things out and explore that. This is very much a governmental controlled area. They control the environment that you live as far as like what type of trees are planted. They very much regulate how much food you eat. They regulate what foods you eat based on your nutrition level for your body type. If you need more calcium, you're going to have something that's more calcium heavy. If you need more fiber, your food's going to be more fiber laden. Everyone in this book dies at the age of 50. And these matches help guarantee the healthiest population. So it's very much a controlled area. It kind of reminded me of Divergent, but not so high risk, at least right now. And I thoroughly enjoyed Divergent by Veronica Roth. So it kind of had that very heavily governmental control in it. A lot of questions are raised. The characters in this carry around, once they reach a certain age, they're allowed to carry around a pill. One is basically to help them calm down, and you don't know what the other two are. It's green, red, and blue are the 3 color pills. One of them they take more when they're having like basically kind of like a panic attack, and it helps them calm down. There's one pill that you do learn at the end of the book what it does, so I'm not going to say what that one does, and I believe that's the red pill. And then we didn't, or at least I don't remember what the other pill does. I think it's the blue one. I think the green one calms you down. But anyway, it was good. I gave this one 4 stars. Absolutely loved the writing. And I look forward to learning more about it. Cassie in this one has a little brother, and people are allowed to keep what's called an artifact until so they have one thing that's special to them, but at the same time the government wants to make sure everyone's on equal footing and that no one is above another person and things like that. So you do get sparks of little rebellions. Like, for example, one thing in this is, like, the world we know in real life, there are tons and tons, like thousands or millions of works of poetry in existence. In this, there's only 100 works. The government picked the 100 best articles of poetry and movies and other art and songs and got rid of the rest. So the rest no longer exist. Sometimes people will find something that should have been erased, like a poem that's not in the 100, and the little act of rebellion is to memorize that or share that with other people. So you do get little acts of rebellion, and I like that. So I can't wait to see where this book goes. So I enjoyed that one. Okay, now what I'm going to do is in the box, oh, I didn't generate this on my phone, duh. In my box that I have all these are just postcards that have colors on them. I will keep this outside of the box that has all of these, and I won't put it back in until I've gone through all of those. So that could take several years, but it'll be fun. So anyway, I'll just kind of keep this separate and put this in my closet or somewhere. Okay, the next prompt that I got in my game is Best in Show. That is to read a book with a beautiful cover. For this one, for me, I thoroughly enjoy this cover. This is A Wicked Magic by Sasha Lawrence. She has another book out that I believe is called The Young Blood, which is a LGBT about vampires. So, and I think it's also a YA. I enjoyed the writing, so I do want to get a copy of Sasha Lawrence's other work. Now, this one is a lot of magic, and it is weighted heavily in black magic or dark magic. So there's not a lot of talk of magic for good. There's a book that the two main characters find, Dan and Liz, and there's a way that they can make themselves become witches. Basically, they do this spell, and they're called, they're a witch. They become a witch. There's another way to become a witch, which I'm not going to say what it is because it does describe it later on in the book. There's a third character in this book that you'll get to know later that is important. That's all I'm going to say. Dan and Liz used to be best friends. There's this event that happens where someone's boyfriend ends up being taken by this evil, dark force, and they want to find this person. There's some arguments as far as why this boyfriend was even during the magical ritual, and if that was the cause, whose fault was it that he disappeared. And so the friendship kind of falls apart for a bit, and then they enter each other's lives again. There's a lot of anger and hurt and animosity, and you're watching as things ultimately end up getting resolved. I'm not going to say if they're resolved for good or for not, because it can go either way. Because truths are found out that can definitely derail certain relationships or make things stronger. I gave this one a 3 stars. This is a debut for Sasha Lawrence because she has a second book that's out now. I gave this one 3 stars because I think there could have been more potential with this, more development on the darker magic. I think it could have gone darker is my biggest thing. I really think that we could have explored the black, dark magic much more. And it started to expand a little bit more the further into the book it got, but I think it could have gone just a little further. So that's why it only got a 3 star. I think it could have gone a little farther. But I did thoroughly enjoy this. The cat is important on this book. I will say the cat's name is Domino. And you'll have to find out why Domino is important by reading this. But I enjoyed this one. So I look forward to see Sasha's writing develop and how it develops and how it grows. Okay, moving on. The next prompt I got was Mealtime. And this is to read a book that has food on the cover or that can be turned into food or however you want to basically interpret that. This one I read a graphic novel. I read Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. I was disappointed. I gave this 2 stars. This is going to be unhauled once I finish all the wrap-ups that I'm going to be doing. So this is going to be finding a new home. A lot of people on BookTube hyped this up and made it sound really, really good. So I was expecting this to be really good, and I just was let down with it. I found it was much longer than it needed to be. You do have a bi character in this. She does talk about, or it is brought up in this. Okay, so these two are friends and they work in the pumpkin patch, okay? This character is bi. She's at the same place are some of her ex-girlfriends and at least one ex-boyfriend. So you do have some of that. Basically, there's this girl that he is interested in. she is trying to help him talk to this girl that he's interested in. So they go to the place that this girl usually works, like a hot chocolate stand or something. I don't know. Well, they basically help was needed at another stall, and so that girl that he's interested was sent to go there. So they end up going to like 5 different stalls. Basically, it's like, oh yeah, she helped here. Well, then she was needed here, and then she was needed here, and I just felt like it was very repetitive, and they were going from stall to stall. I think if it was like, hey, it's our last fall together working at this place, let's kick off early and let's go and explore this pumpkin patch since it's the last day working as guests instead of employees. Let's go see what this has to offer instead of always working in this succotash stall that they worked. I felt like it could have been different, and you could have seen the friendship grow between the two rather than chasing this other girl. So I felt like this could have gone and been so much better had it gone a completely different route. Instead of, and I think if you knew from the front that they were going from stall to stall to explore it as guests of the pumpkin patch or the place that they were at, instead of chasing someone else down, I just felt like it could have been so much better. So for me, this was a letdown, and this will be unhauled. And I know that Rainbow Rowell has been talked about a lot on BookTube, and a lot of people like Rainbow Rowell's writing. I am willing to try a novel by Rainbow Rowell, but I don't think I'll be trying another graphic novel by this author, just because, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to write the author off just quite yet. I just felt like this could have been so much better had this gone a different route. So I'm going to leave it at that. And we'll go from there. Okay, the next prompt I got is Best in Show, and that's to read a book with a beautiful cover. I did not get to this prompt. So that book has been put back on my shelf, and hopefully I'll get to that at a later point. The one I selected was The Many Daughters of Afong Moy by Jamie Foy, and this is a book that is a special edition from my Once Upon a Book Club box. So it's much different than what, if I were to even insert an image of this, the cover that I have is way different. So, okay. Moving on was Nap Time. This is to read a book that is greater than or equal to 500 pages. For this one, I read Feedback. I did read this book. I have a couple of things highlighted. So Feedback follows the events of the first book in the series, which is Feed. This is the 4th and final book in the Newsflesh series. You're following the same time as in book 1. The only difference, so in book 1, you're following the Mason siblings, and they join this political campaign as this guy petitions to become a president of the United States. He's running to become president, and this is at the time when the common cold and everything's been cured, but in so doing they've created this super virus where when people die, if they're above a certain weight threshold, they will reanimate as a flesh-eating zombie. Well, people don't like certain political candidates. There's more than one candidate, obviously, and basically there's these outbreaks that keep happening, and I would say the politics of the first one are, I think, more heavily rooted in Republican. This book, it follows the same, it's the exact same timeline, except we're following more of the Democrat politics. So you're getting a bit more, it's interesting to see from a different political perspective and just different perspective altogether. You're seeing, for example, there are deaths that happen in the first book that you're seeing the Mason siblings' reaction to. Those same deaths you're seeing completely different people's reactions to. So I found that very interesting. One of the characters in this is an immigrant from Ireland. She is a lesbian, but she does enter a marriage of convenience to be able to leave her native country. But she is a lesbian, and there is a female-female relationship in this, and you also have a character in this that goes by they/them pronouns, And what I liked, there was talk about how this person that goes by the they them pronouns loves makeup, but at the same time loves tinkering with cars and getting their hands dirty and things like that. And so and there was talk on that it's like, it doesn't matter what you like, you're still I can't, let me find some of the things I underlined. Let's see, because I found it very poignant and important stuff that could be known and should be applied to life. I can't, let's see. Bad things happen in the world. Destroying people's ability to trust the protocols that keep them safe was only going to lead to worse down the road. Okay, so there's that about trust. I'm trying to find. Sometimes laughter was the sweetest sound there was. It's easier if we can argue without hating each other. I found that very important because in today's political unrest with everything, people are more pliable to other opinions. That's not the right word, but people are more willing to listen to each other if there's not any animosity, hatred, and fighting. People dig their heels in and are more stubborn and are more opposing to someone's opposing viewpoints when arguing and belittling and things like that are involved. So you catch more flies with honey, so to speak. Let's see. No one gets out of their childhood unscarred. Some just wear their scars on the inside where no one can see. So you never know what people have gone through, and that helps shape political opinions, religious beliefs, life beliefs and opinions. Everyone copes in a manner that works best for them. That's true of the human race. I like this. People want their politics to be sensible, smart, and just a little bit brave. They want us to seem better than they are. Yeah. Let's see. What else? I'm trying to find... There's one that I'm thinking of. Oh, okay. This is the one regarding the person with the they, them pronouns, the non-binary person. Everyone looks at the fact that I do makeup tutorials and goes, ah, she's secretly a girl. And then they look at the fact that I like to tinker with cars and they go, oh, he's secretly a boy. Really, I'm just a person with diverse interests, like everybody else on the planet. Yes, everyone has diverse interests. I'm not into makeup, and so you would go, well, then you're not really a girl, and then some people are that extreme. I would much rather learn about how to fix a car. That doesn't make me a boy, that just means that that's more of my interest than something else. You know? Anyway, let's go ahead and move on from that. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Love this series. This is written by Mira Grant, and Mira Grant is the pen name for Seanan McGuire. I tried the Wayward series by Seanan McGuire. I read the first one, did not like it, but I loved the writing under Mira Grant. So maybe, you know, I'm willing to give Seanan McGuire, or a book written by Seanan McGuire, under Seanan McGuire, another chance, but anything written under Mira Grant, I am more than willing to pick up. So, okay, the next book was What Is My Name? And this was to random generate a word. And the word I random generated was stain. So for this one, I went with On the Edge of Gone by Corinne Duyvis. I know I said that wrong, and I heard how to say it and I can't remember how to pronounce it. But this is based in Amsterdam. And basically it's the end of the world. A comet hits the earth and people have to try to either make the choice where they're going to go for shelter. Either they're going to end up leaving the planet Earth and live in space or at another planet for a long time until the planet heals itself and regenerates, or people are going to try to stay on the Earth and help regenerate and heal the planet. So it can go either way. We're following the main character with Denise, and Denise she's black and she is autistic, and she functions in a capacity that some people don't realize that she's autistic. She's able to mask things really well, and it's a scam call. She's able to mask things really well, so people don't realize that she's autistic. She's got 2 things going for her. One, it talks about how because she's black that certain things are kind of looked over and glossed over, and not taken as seriously, and same thing because she's a woman. Well, that's the thing with autism diagnosis and women. Women tend to mask things really well, and so a lot of the times women don't get diagnosed until later in life. Like in my case, I was diagnosed at age 36. Had I been diagnosed at a younger age, I think school and a lot of stuff growing up would have been easier to deal with and handle, because I would have understand my thinking. I know that I would not have hated myself quite as much. So, but Denise is very much a strong individual. So you have the autism rep. There's also I have a sticky note in here that has a couple of other things. You also have a female-female relationship. At the beginning of the book, they're all heading towards this place where they will be protected once the comet hits the earth. And she comes across this teacher that she had in school, and the teacher is trying to help her wife. So there's the female-female relationship, and the wife was injured, and so they Denise and her mother stopped to help them. You also have, so this takes place, like I said, in the Netherlands and mostly in Amsterdam, so you do have some Dutch terminology in this. That was fun and enjoyable for me to see, so I enjoyed that. You have a character that is addicted to drugs, and you can see the effect and how they kind of zone out, and you see how the family doesn't like the fact that this person is addicted to drugs, and they try to tolerate, tolerate isn't the right word, but they try to support and help that family member that they love the best that they know how and the best that they can. But you also see the perspective of other people who don't know the whole situation that's going on and how much they look down on this person that's addicted to drugs. And you do learn later on kind of some factors that happened in this person's life that more than likely aided in the chance of them becoming addicted into the drugs. So you do have quite a bit of talk of that, as well as the shame that you feel when people see that, the shame that you feel for that family member and being associated with that member who is addicted to drugs. So there's a lot of talk on that. This was hard. There was a lot of pet abandonment because people had to leave, and it makes sense, and it just hurts my heart. Denise loves cats, like I love cats, and she had to sit and watch as all these cats that were abandoned were basically put down to die. They were put to sleep because people couldn't take them to the new shelter, and yet they didn't want to leave them to be killed by another human and eaten, to be killed by some other wildlife out there and eaten. They didn't want them to be killed by the impact of the comet or drowned in a flood or killed by an earthquake, because people couldn't take their pets to the shelter where they had to try to survive the comet impact. So I understand, but it was very hard to read about at times, and you got the sense of how much Denise loved cats in this, and so that part was very unsettling. I do wish I wish that there were some cats that could survive, but you got the impression that unless there were a feral cat, any cats that were a pet basically are killed during this impending comet hit. That's the impression, and that was very hard to read. That just hurts my heart. It just is very unsettling. But I gave this one 4 stars. This was the March read for the Autism Reads Readathon that I host. I will have the Discord link in the description box. Please check it out, because if you want to read more books that have autism rep, that is the main reason. I'm trying to also find more books written by autistic authors. So the books will either have autism rep or written by an autistic author, or a combination of the two. This readathon started in February, so this is the second book that we have read, and next month we're reading Afrotistic. So definitely, if you're interested in reading books by autistic authors and has autism rep, definitely check that Autism Reads Discord, link in the description box, and join us. The more the merrier, so to speak, is how that saying goes. But I would love to have you join. So this was the read for March, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay. Next up, so I landed on cat videos. So for this one, I have to draw a booktuber that has a TBR game, and this one I landed on cat videos twice for this March round. So I did not really get to these books. So the first person that I drew was Melanie from Completely Melanie, and this was to based on her game Cards Against My TBR. She does a couple of different games. So I'll remind you of the prompts that she got, and I don't remember what month this was. I think it was the previous month's, like, was this for her January or February game? I don't remember, but I'll link her channel in the description box. But the prompts that she got for the game, and I'll tell you what books I read, but I can tell you right off, I didn't read any of them. I did not read any of these books. I just didn't get to them. At times during the month of March, I was a little slumpy, and there were a couple days I did not read anything, which is unusual for me, and so I just didn't get as much read as I would wanted. So the first card that she drew was Destroying a Pair of Underwear. I went with The Iguana Project by Dale Arden. And the next prompt she got is You Haven't Truly Lived Until You've Experienced Blank and Blank at the Same Time. I selected Frostheart by Jamie Littler and The Club by Ellery Lloyd. I will try to get to these as soon as I can, but today's the last day of March. There's no way I'm getting to these books. I am participating in the Illyrium Magical Readathon for the month of April. I am on the, is it the Crescent? Order of the Crescent. And there was a tweet by G it's on Twitter, that Order of the Crescent was actually able to start, was it day before yesterday? And so I've already started my April. I finished one book. And I'm going to be starting the second one today. So, and as I go through my April, if I can fit some of the books from the previous month's TBR in, I'll definitely try to, but I don't know how likely that is. Okay, the third prompt, that card that Melanie drew, was What's the Gift That Keeps on Giving? I selected Salvation by Peter F. Hamilton. I did not expect to even pick this one up because it is a thick book. Book prompt number 4 is a box that is conscious that it's a box and wishes that it weren't a box, is basically what it is. I selected the Elite by Kiera Cass. This is book number 2 in the Selection series, which is another dystopian book. Prompt number 5, or card number 5, was a dual prompt, and this is Having Problems with Blank, Try Blank. I selected The One by Kiera Cass and The Heir by Kiera Cass. So basically it's having problems with the one, try the heir. Like the heir, the descendant, H-E-I-R, not air, like A that you breathe. So anyway, the second booktuber that I pulled was Kimberly from Whimsical Narratives. She does a TBR cafe game that's fun to watch. I'll also have Kimberly's channel in the description box as well. Out of these prompts, there's one book that I read, and it was a digital book. So let's go ahead and start with the first spot that she landed on, and it was to read a book, a contemporary romance that was adapted for TV or film. I selected How to Deal by Sarah Dessen. I have seen the movie. I have not read the book. Still have not read the book. Next prompt that she got was to read a book with a classic monster. I selected Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I still have not read that one. I really want to get that one, and I believe that this one is on my 40 books to read before I turn 40, or on my 12 classics to read in 12 months, or both. So I really do want to get to this one. The next one was a mood read. I picked Long Distance by Whitney Gardner, which is a graphic novel. Still have not gotten to that one. Now this book I did get to, and this is to read a book about witches. I selected a novella, which is book number 2.5 in a Kitchen Witch Cozy Mystery series. This book is called Have a Holly Haunted Christmas, written by Lynn Cahoon. 4 stars. I'm sorry, I kicked the camera stand here, the whatever it's called. I am thoroughly loving this series. So, I mean, it's your standard cozy mystery. There's a dead body that crops up. The main character, at least in the first book, is accused of the murder or is a suspect. And I've never really gone past the first book in a cozy mystery, so it's interesting to see how things kind of, I mean, there's a dead body, someone's framed or is suspected for the murder, and then the main character inserts themselves into the investigation to try to clear themselves or this other person that they know and care for. And then there's a resolution. That is your plot for a cozy mystery. It's just the little details that help tie the plot from point A to point B that vary from book to book. And I am thoroughly enjoying this book. And I highly recommend this series. I love it. So it's a Kitchen Witch Cozy Mystery series by Lynn Cahoon. Again, thoroughly love it. So Have a Holly Haunted Christmas is the one that I read, which is book number 2.5 in the series. The last prompt that Kimberly got was to read a book that's either a backlist or from a book box. I did an ARC backlist, so an advanced reader's copy. I selected A Brush with Love by Maisie Eddings. Still have not gotten to that one, and I don't remember when that one was supposed to be released, but I really need to get to that one because if I remember it's out. It's gone. It's released. So. And it is one that I won from Goodreads, so I really do want to get to that one. And it sounds like it's a sweet book, but that's it. I will do a further wrap up a little later on. You'll see that as far as like maybe the stats. I read a total of 14 books, so for the month of March. So I have these five physical ones from my game, plus 2 ebooks that I read that went with my Catwalk TBR game. I will tell you this right now. 2 additional books that I read I have right here are Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert, and this is getting unhauled. There's too much complaining, and I just don't like all the complaining. This is getting unhauled. The writing, it's Talia Hibbert's standard writing. She does a great job, but I felt like there was too much complaining, and that really bugs me. And I don't even remember what star rating I gave it. Maybe a 2-star, maybe a very low 3-star. I don't know. But the other book that I read is Once and For All by Sarah Dessen. Enjoyed this one. Either was a high 3-star or a low 4-star. I don't remember, but I liked that one. So, three books are being unhauled. 1 is an ebook that's just been deleted from my Kindle, and 2 physical books I am unhauling. So once I finish all of my wrap-ups and everything, then I will unhaul these 2 books. So again, the 2 that I will be unhauling from my collection is Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I will let these go to another home where someone will hopefully love them much more than I did. So that's my Catwalk TBR plus a little sum wrap up. So let me know, what was your favorite book that you read for the month of March? Talk to me in the comment section below, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.